This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Wheel. Today, we are talking with Adam Donahue from Dometic. He is a wealth of information about the introduction of the Kampa product line to the U.S. market and how the Dometic brand is becoming a one-stop shop for all outdoor enthusiasts. An exciting part of this line is the inflatable rooms and standalone tents. These are game changers for those campers and RVers that need a little more space and privacy. We also have the opportunity to talk about cooling solutions and the PLB40 portable lithium battery. So before I give away the entire conversation, let's jump into the talk with Adam.
Hi, Adam. Welcome to the show, and thank you for coming on and joining us today.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
So my first question is just on, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Dometic?
Yeah, my name's Adam Donahue, and I joined Dometic about 2.5 years ago. I'm the business unit director for our mobile cooling division. And internally, mobile cooling encompasses all of our portable refrigerator freezers and portable cooling products that are active and passive. We sell products through the traditional RV channels as well as in the marine industry. And I joined to really help drive the company into what's traditionally known as the outdoor business. That's my background. So I actually worked at Thule, the roof rack company. Before that, I ran a cycling distribution business where we worked in the aftermarket. And then before that, I was working for an automotive OE supplier. So a little bit of diverse background, but all of those have come together really to help drive Dometic into a new area.
Yeah, and as we talk about this new area, I found it kind of interesting because, as you described, when I hear Dometic, I think more of things like cooling and, appliances and things like that. So would you say the core business of Dometic is centered around appliance type features?
Yeah, I would say so. It's interesting. We're going through a bit of a renaissance right now as we look at the business internally, and also as we look at the areas and the customers that we're engaging with externally. If you look at Dometic's history, you can trace our origins back to the invention of modern refrigeration. We are part of Electrolux, which invented modern refrigeration before everyone was using, ice under their cellar or an ice box that had deliveries. And we invented absorption refrigeration. In 2001, Dometic was divested as part of the consumer division of the Electrolux brand. And so that is really, we're a new company with a very old history, or an origin story rather. And over the last 16 years, or 18 years rather, we've made a series of acquisitions that have grown the brand and our presence globally in RV, marine, consumer passenger vehicle. And now this next phase where we're thinking about the outdoor industry and really shifting the motto of mobile living made easy to ensure that we are providing products for anyone that loves spending time outdoors in smart and efficient ways. And so I think that's this sort of really interesting shift of when people hear or think of Dometic, certainly refrigeration, air conditioning are the cornerstones of our history, but where we're going is really thinking about how do we enable people to live mobile in a simple way, in a way that's convenient, and allow them to do that simply, spontaneously, efficiently, and really bringing the creature comforts of home anywhere they want to be.
So that really brings us to what we're going to talk about today, which is about Kampa being integrated with Dometic. Can you tell us what Kampa is and why Dometic wanted them to be under the Dometic umbrella?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kampa was a company that Dometic acquired in late 2018. We looked at the brand because we felt like they had great synergies amongst our core categories. So obviously RV being a cornerstone of our business, the Kampa brand really fit in nicely in that it expands the living footprint of people that utilize RVs for their leisure activities. So, so much of an RV is about how to condense everything that you love at home and being very minimalistic in your approach because space is a premium. And the Kampa product line virtually doubles the living space of an RV by providing really a living room, an outdoor living room, and an outdoor space that is protected from the elements, but that you can personalize with flooring and with cooking accessories and tables and chairs, and really provide some versatility for the campsite when you've decided on, where you're going to spend your time.
So these outdoor, they're not just awnings, they're actually like exterior rooms that you're adding on, almost like an addition to your RV, like a sunroom.
Yeah, exactly. So the Kampa product line consists of two things. We call them RV awnings, and then there's freestanding tents. And in the States, we think about awnings really as the sort of the cassette rollout awning, which is really a sun protection and sun shade. Where Kampa product's different is really it's an inflatable room. And so it has 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor that provides that sort of exterior living space. And then, think of it as almost like a camping tent, but one that attaches to your RV in a more structured way.
Gotcha.
They use a really interesting air bladder technology. I'm from the East Coast, so anything related to the water is sort of up my alley. I like kite surfing, and it's the same technology as a kite surfing sail, which uses a high volume bladder to create the superstructure of the tent. And so it's completely pole-less. It uses a single point inflation. So with one single high volume pump or an air compressor, you can inflate the entire awning structure in a matter of minutes. And what's great for RVing as well as for recreational camping is that because you don't have to deal with poles, the whole thing breaks down and hooks and ties a duffel bag and can be easily stored or thrown into the basement of the RV.
That's what I was going to ask you. I looked at photos and I didn't realize that there were no poles in there, and that was only my question. So I guess without the poles, it really becomes compact when you're ready to store it back in your RV. And then I think I also saw on the website that it can be attached to the RV, and then you can also have some type of structure that is there that you can move the RV, leave the structure in place, and then come back to it. Like you don't have to break it down and set it up every time you want to move your RV. For some people that maybe don't have a tow vehicle or they use their RV as their main driving vehicle as well.
Absolutely. Yes. We have 2 different styles. There's what we call a drive-away and a static awning. And it really is the difference between the attaching mechanism, whether or not we go into a C channel on the RV, which would be more of the permanent attachment, or there's one that has guy lines that go over the top of the RV, and that's considered a drive away. So for, again, as you mentioned, people who want to set up for a more permanent application, they can have a drive away so that they can undo the guy lines, drive their RV away, and still have the entire setup there. And then on the tent side, freestanding tents, what's interesting and sort of where we're providing a unique product for the U.S. market is the size and the footprint of these tents. They're not, when you picture sort of like the traditional camping tent and you've got 4 people packed in like sardines, and that's a 4-person tent. A 4-person tent from Kampa has a living room, a porch, and 2 individual separated bedrooms that have blackout curtains. It is like glamping, but in a portable nature. So, you think about these sort of like African safari canvas tents, it's that type of size and scale, but in a lightweight inflatable application. And so it's ideal for families who want to be able to bring their kids and have a little breathing space and be able to run around. And if you have inclement weather or it's really sunny out, you've got some really great protection.
The freestanding tents are pole-less as well?
Yes, absolutely. All the products on our line, we do have a small assortment of poled, but all of the items that we're going to be bringing to the U.S. for 2020 season will be pole or air inflatable.
Wow, that's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. Give us an idea of taking it out of the RV and setup time, like a rough estimate of how long something like that would take.
Absolutely. So I think as with anything, there's a little bit of a learning curve. For someone who has owned the product and has assembled it a couple of times, really the most time-consuming thing is taking it out of the bag, identifying where you're going to putting it, staking it down. Once you've got it in position, it takes 4 to 5 minutes to inflate.
That's incredible.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I don't have to go back.
And that's not something like, Arnold Schwarzenegger going up and down on a inflatable pump. That's a normal individual who using basically, it's a high volume bike pump to inflate this. And because it has a single point inflation system, you don't have to walk around the footprint and go to various different inflation points in order to do that. It uses a series of air locks, similar to a pool inflatable. It uses that, so you don't have to go to all those different points. You use one inflation point and it puts up the entire float.
Oh, that's really good. I'm glad that we had you on the show now, because just from looking at it on the website, I didn't realize that there was just one port for the entire thing to inflate, and I didn't realize it would inflate that quickly. That's really cool. It's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah. So when an integration like this happens, does Dometic take full control of Kampa, or will the name Kampa stay and have the same chain of command, or is there no changes in Kampa's end as far as operations and control goes?
Dometic has, through sort of our history of acquisitions, we take a couple different tracks of how we integrate businesses. The Kampa brand has an incredible equity throughout Europe and the UK. And so in Europe, it'll take a slightly different track where branding will rechange, color schemes may change, so that we can more closely integrate the product with the rest of the Dometic portfolio. The Kampa team is staying fully intact and are running as an independent division within the group. But then the products will be sold within the rest of Dometic channels globally in order to leverage our infrastructure and the additional resources that we can bring to the product line. And so for the US, we're going to be introducing a small assortment of the products in 2020, the inflatable awnings for RVs, as well as the freestanding tents. In the US, because the Kampa brand didn't exist, we didn't want to introduce a new brand and then have to change it over in a short period of time. So we'll be introducing them as Dometic products in the US.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be my question is, will we be able to find this under the Dometic name, or will we have to go find it under the Kampa name in the US? Because I know Kampa is big in Europe, but that name is not familiar to a lot of US consumers. So
exactly.
Yeah, so we'd be able to find it here under Dometic.
Yep. So starting in the first quarter of 2020, the products will be available for research and for purchase on the Dometic.com website. So people will be able to find and use our dealer locator in order to find retailers and websites that the products will be available on. There'll be product information, fit guide, et cetera. So all that information will be available in the first quarter of next year.
Okay.
I think that's a smart move, putting it under the Dometic name, under a name that everybody's already familiar with, rather than introducing a new company name with a product that maybe people will be a little leery and say, oh, I've never heard of Kampa, but everybody's heard of Dometic.
Yeah.
Yeah. We certainly don't want to lose their heritage, though, because, I mean, the company has really built a great reputation. They have incredible service. They have great relationships with their retailers. They've got close to a nil warranty rate. We do feel like, as far as the product is concerned and the heritage of the brand and the way in which that they have developed products by being really close to the end customer, is that heritage we want to really hold true and carry on through the product extensions life.
When the products come here in 2020, will they need to be restructured at all for like our giant Class A? I mean, we got some monster Class A homes that are like 44 foot and our fifth wheels that are huge. Like, how will that work?
That's a great point. And that's been one of the things that we've been working on since the acquisition as part of our launch strategy, is really determining the best fit product to RV for the American market. Because as you said, we build much bigger, taller RVs than they currently sell in Europe and in Asia. And so there's a certain segment of the market that the products fit seamlessly. And then we're going to be developing new sizes and fitments for some of the larger footprint RVs in the Americas.
So you said the inflatables are for 2020, but Kampa has a huge line of other types of products. Are there plans in the works for expanding what you bring to the U.S. beyond the inflatables?
One of the things that we really loved about Kampa is that, as you mentioned, they have a huge line of accessories, and they really have looked at the ecosystem of products that support a mobile and active lifestyle for their customers. So everything from stemware to plates and cookware, tables and chairs, flooring, lighting solutions, speakers, they have a vast assortment of those products And we're in the process now of curtailing that sort of vast assortment for an introduction in 2020. And then we'll continue to explore what products are relevant for the Americas market in years to come.
Yeah, I like some of their table and chairs that they have on their website. I mean, I think they have some really neat products that are particularly for outdoor type uses. They're really cool.
Yeah, the thing I was fortunate enough to get to go to, they have a showroom in the Netherlands that they show product to their retailers, and got to go over there and take a look at the 2020 assortment. You know, it's funny, we think about camp chairs in the US as fairly cumbersome, clunky, not entirely comfortable solutions. And it's sort of a commodity market. And I think what Kampa has done a really great job of is elevating that experience, you know, very similar to what Yeti has done with their new, I think it's called the Hondo chair. You know, they said, here's something that we have sort of a terrible experience with our customers. Let's provide something better. Let's provide something more comfortable that reclines, that's wider, that has better access to, you know, beverage holding. And so Kampa's products fit perfectly with that. And they've got a wide variety depending on the style, colorway, whether it reclines or is static, in order so that, you know, RVers and tent campers can personalize their experience.
I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at them. I didn't see any of these. I remember I was looking at the rooms, I guess, primarily at the rooms. And you had mentioned flooring. When you say flooring, are you talking about like a rollout type of floor, or is it cushioned? Or
yes.
Okay.
It's more of a, you know, so something that's going to provide dew protection if you're going to sit down on grass, something that doesn't allow dirt to come into the inside of the tent. So not a hard floor, but think of it more of as an outdoor carpet.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
This is great because going back to almost what you said in the very beginning of the podcast, you know, we are confined to maybe 150 square feet, maybe if we're lucky, inside the RV. So anytime that you can use some of your outdoor space and then be able to use it and maybe not all that great of climate is even better. You know, if we get a little bit of shade from the sun or protection from the rain and still be able to use all that available space that we have outside is really a plus.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's I think so interesting about it is that, you know, depending on what style of RV camping that you're doing, whether you're in a campsite or, you know, if you're boondocking and you're going totally off grid, it does provide a little bit of extra outdoor privacy. You know, if you happen to be in an RV camp where people are next to one another and you want that outdoor space, but not necessarily to be in your neighbor's yard, you have a little bit of outdoor privacy. You know, you can have a nice candlelight dinner and not feel like you're next to someone who's also doing the same thing. If you choose to, you can open the windows and you go right outside to the picnic table, and certainly you can have that communal experience, but it does also provide a little bit more of that intimacy that you have while still being outside.
Sabrina and I do the same thing, but every time you open your RV door to step outside, no fail, somebody is staring at you when you walk out. You do the same thing too. Just, you know, because it's usually quiet at the campground. You hear a noise, you look up, and now you're looking at your neighbor or whoever's coming out of your RV. And it does make people, you know, sometimes it makes us uncomfortable. We're like, why are they always staring at us every time we come out of our door?
Yeah, definitely. The other interesting thing that they just came out with for the 2020 season is that they've developed this concept called an air wall. Think of it as a inflatable fence. The primary reason it was designed was, again, for wind protection. So if you're camping in an environment where you've got heavy gusty winds, you don't want stuff blowing all over the place, it provides a wall protecting you from the elements. But the other use that we found very quickly is that it provides a gated area for pets. Something like 70+% of RVers are RVing with a pet. And, you know, the worst thing you can see is when some dog is tied up underneath the carriage, tied to the frame of the RV, sitting there looking lonely, wanting to run around. Well, this air wall provides a physical barrier so that the pets can roam free inside and outside of the RV without the owner having to worry about them running away. And in my case, I saw it and I was like, that is perfect for my 2-year-old now. In the summertime, we can go set up the air wall, have him run around, and I don't have to worry about him running into the street.
That's pretty cool. What sizes do they come in?
There's a 3-panel and a 5-panel. And so perimeter wall, it's going to give you anywhere from maybe 20 to 30 feet.
See, I was thinking too, when you were first talking about it, I thought you were going to say it was perfect for blocking the wind of your campfire so that you don't have smoke being blown in your face every time you change chairs and the smoke follows you around.
Another perfect solution.
That product will be coming to the States here also?
Yes. Yep. The Air Brake Pro and the Air Brake All Season, they come in a 3 and a 5.
Okay, very cool.
So we've talked a little bit about the introduction of Kampa products into Dometic. Will this change any of the traditional Dometic products that you already have?
In the short term, I don't think that we'll change anything specifically. I think really where Kampa has infused a new sort of direction or philosophy as part of Dometic, and I think this will certainly impact us in the years to come, is that all of their products were developed with a deep connection to the needs of their customer. And all of their product development, the ideation was engaging with, talking to people that were using their products and iterating on that in order to provide a better experience. And so I think as a company, that's something that we certainly have great aspirations and processes now in place to instill that going forward. That is the largest driver of our product development cycle, is really making sure that we're listening to the end consumer, listening to individuals like yourselves who are living in RVs full time and saying, what are the things, where are our pain points, and how can we solve those pain points and provide products that make it a little bit easier to go through the day-to-day experiences of living in an RV.
Yeah, I think you guys have been doing a good job at that too. There's been a couple shows that I've been to where Dometic is set up and they're grabbing people and doing little walkthroughs through mock RVs and saying, what do you think of this? How can we improve? And they're looking for, honest feedback. How can we improve this? What don't you like about it? You guys want to know what we dislike about it and what can we improve on? And I think that's awesome that anytime a company does that and starts listening to their customer and want to make improvements in their products, I think that's always a big plus.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And I think, that is certainly, I've been very fortunate that the group that makes up the mobile cooling team, we're a pretty unique group in that every single member of the team is a user themselves. In mobile cooling, our primary focus is around portable refrigeration and the product called the CFX, which is our portable refrigerator freezer. We call it a powered cooler, and it's very popular in the overland segment. And so, anyone using rooftop tents or inflatable tents, but their primary vehicle as the application, this is a great solution for them. Every single member of my team either has an overland vehicle or goes overlanding on their own personal time. And so not only are we making sure that we pay attention to the end consumer, but we're the end consumer ourselves. And so I think that is a new driving force in that if we make something that we want to buy, there's a good scenario and a good chance that when we vet that by our customers, we get some good buy-in there.
So is that, I know we're talking about Kampa on this podcast, but Kenny and I were at the RVX show last year, and we spent a lot of time at the Dometic booth. One of the things that we really liked was the, what was it called, Kenny? Like the cube that powers those?
PLB40?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, the PLB40. So that was a product we launched last year. We were extremely excited about it because power, as you guys know, is a major concern for people. It's complicated, it's cumbersome, it gets technical, you never know if you have enough. Is it going to meet the demands of all the appliances that you want to hook up to it? And so in the powered cooler space, when people are accustomed to using ice chests, there's no science to it. You have enough ice, you throw it on top of your beer and you go for the day. When it comes to powered cooling, there can be a little bit more science to it. People can get as technical as you want. Even though you can plug it into the cigarette lighter of your car or you can plug it into the outlet in your house, having a dedicated power source that allows you to go for a weekend and not have to worry about it is the plug and play solution that a lot of our customers are asking for. They just wanted something that was stupidly simple. I plug my cooler in, I can go for the weekend. And we built in some really cool features to it so that it actually acts as a dual battery system for those that, again, want to get a little bit more technical with it. That was the solution most people were going with. They were doing a dual battery system with an alternator in their vehicles, which is, you're going to spend upwards of $1,200 and get it installed. And it's, quite a cumbersome system. The PLB40, because it's a pure DC system, can charge off of your 12-volt outlet in your car. And you can constantly run the fridge nonstop. And then when you turn the car off, the fridge is just going to draw off of the PLB40 constantly. when you turn the car back on, it starts recharging your battery because it's a pure DC system. So it's got some unique features in that compared to some other portable lithium-ion batteries in the market. It's done incredibly well for us, and we're very excited to expand that product line and that offering in order to provide simplicity but versatility for people wanting to bring fresh food and beverages wherever they go.
We both really liked that particular product. I think we spent a lot of time asking questions and playing with it when we were at that show.
Yeah, I think they even said that they took a lot of time to fine tune the PL40 with the cooler to make it as efficient as possible to get that weekend lifespan out of it.
Absolutely. One of the other cool features on it is that you can then sort of create a larger ecosystem using the battery because it has an Anderson plug in the back, which is the most common solar adapter. You can then plug solar directly into the PLB40, plug the fridge, your phone, any camera charging equipment into the PLB40, and now you've got an off-the-grid power pack that powers all of your appliances, plus your food and your drinks, and keeps everything self-contained. So again, that simplicity of just being able to plug in the most common applications and not have to splice wires or buy an extra accessory or hook anything else up. That was really the aim of that project, and I think it's done quite well. I mean, people responded well to it, and it certainly sold quite a few of them this year, so that's always good.
And it's a nice compact design as well.
Yeah, super lightweight, easy to use, and there's a nice design aesthetic where it looks harmonious with our product line, which I think is people like to buy things that look good together. They like to buy brands in unison, and when things are all disconnected, you're like, ah. But when you set up a CFX next to the PLE40, it's like a harmonious look, and it looks pretty slick in the back of your vehicle.
Yeah, and for anybody that's listening that may not have seen these the powered coolers that you're talking about, they are also dual zone. So you can have one side, some of them you can have one side frozen and one side refrigerated, which really, that was the first time I ever seen a cooler like that. I thought that was really cool that you could your ice cream and your vegetables in the same cooler and be good.
I love that you mentioned that. It's the number one thing that we hear from the users of our products is ice cream. Really? And being able to bring ice cream with you wherever you are. It's a pretty cool thing to be, in a middle of a blazing hot desert and pull out a popsicle. It's a unique experience.
Yeah, it's really cool. I liked it a lot. I was really impressed with that. And it was quiet. That cooler, I remember Sean and I trying to listen. We got our ears like all over it and trying to listen. So it made very little noise. It was really a nice setup. The two complement each other really well.
What's unique about the cooler is, again, that was an acquisition we made in 2007. It was a company called Waco, and they really were the global leaders in developing mobile refrigeration that was highly efficient, extremely quiet, compact, but created incredibly powerful temperature deltas so that even in 100-degree weather, you can have something that's -7 degrees. But the idea of being able to bring fresh fruits, vegetables, frozen meats, ice cream, cold drinks, and not have to have soggy sandwiches or throw food away because it got wet, with a compact exterior footprint with high capacity, really dovetails nicely into a lot of these freestanding Kampa tents where you want to be able to bring your family outdoors. And so I think, the nice thing for us in the US is we look at expanding that offering to outdoor enthusiasts. We now have the ability to bring fresh food and drinks. You've got your sort of food checked as a primary driver for survival. Now we've got overhead protection and shelter, but really, those two key things in combination, throw your family in the back of the SUV or in the RV for the weekend, and you can just grab the food from your refrigerator and not have to do anything certain special planning. It's a way to let, I think, families and individuals be more spontaneous with going outdoors.
Yeah, and the nice thing is you can get them all. You can get the inflatable tent or inflatable room and the cooler with the power solution all from the same location. You're not having to go to several different sources to get that. It's all available, or soon will be available, from one website or one retailer that sells Dometic products.
Yep, absolutely. When I was interviewing and researching about Dometic, it was, we're a large global company, but one that if you don't pay specific attention to your RV refrigerator, air conditioner, or marine products may not have heard of. As I started really learning about the company and as we've evolved over the last couple of years, we're the one company in the outdoor space that really touches on every type of scenario that a customer could spend time outdoors, whether you're on a boat, you're in an RV, you're in your car, you're hiking, you're driving a tractor trailer across the country, any sort of modes of transportation or where someone can spend time outdoors, we make products that make that more comfortable. And it's an interesting position for us to be in because I feel like so many people today are looking for ways to disconnect, get away from their phones, and to be able to be sort of a nexus point for enabling that to happen in a pleasurable way where, you know, my wife isn't going to be like, sleeping in a tent is not comfortable and I don't want to do that again. She's now like, oh, wait, we can grab all the food from our refrigerator and I can have, you know, a glass of chilled white wine at the campsite. I'm all about that.
Yeah, nowadays there's no reason to be uncomfortable, even when you're out boondocking and doing these dry camping or tent camping. We're living in an amazing time that we can be comfortable no matter what type of camping that we're doing, which is great. You don't even necessarily need the RV as much as you used to. If you can still have that at-home feeling, like you're saying, with the chairs, the flooring, the tent, a refrigerator inside with you.
Yeah, and it's really, you know, it's around fitting and meeting people's lifestyles. You know, for you guys living full-time in an RV, you want something that's more permanent, more sturdy, more space. But for someone who's doing a couple weekends a year and wants just a freestanding tent where they've got a little bit more space and their family feels comfortable, you know, our goal is, again, to enable that mobile living lifestyle wherever the customer is going to meet us and the amount of time that they're going to spend outside.
Now that the Kampa acquisition has happened, are the two companies going to work together to create new products that are more in line with what U.S. consumers are asking for?
Definitely. I can't speak to specifics, but that is in the works, and we've got an exciting pipeline of things coming in the years to come.
I can tell everybody that you had a big smile when I asked that question. So we're looking forward to see what's going to come out of that.
But if you guys have any ideas, wants, or needs, send them our way so we can put them in the pipeline.
Sean and I have tons of ideas and opinion.
We welcome all of them.
What about the other way around? So now will Kampa carry Dometic products in the UK under a Kampa name for their already acquired customer fan base?
Yeah, so certainly Kampa has a really strong base of outdoor retailers and RV retailers throughout the UK and throughout Europe. And those customers will now have access to the Dometic product line. Many of them did before, and so there are natural synergies there because of the products that or the customers that they were serving. But yeah, I mean, those are part of the synergies in which made the acquisition really make a lot of sense for us, in that some customers we had existing or mutual, and then others we're going to be able to cross-sell the entire product line now and make that available to a wider variety of retailers and consumers.
I think that is all of our questions. Sometimes Sean will pop up and say, nope, I got one more. But before we let you go, Adam, is there anything that you wanted to add or say that maybe Sean or I might have missed?
I don't think so. I'm honored to be on the show with you guys. I think, you know, experiences like this, being able to talk about sort of our vision for the future and how we can be a part of RVers, campers, and outdoor enthusiasts' lives. I certainly relish the opportunity to engage in conversations like these and explain sort of our thoughts and strategy, and welcome, the feedback that you guys have so that we can, again, make products that are making your lives a little bit easier.
So if people want to see what these inflatable rooms and tents look like, as well as some of the other Kampa accessories, where's the best place for them to go look at those now? And where will the best place be the beginning of next year when you guys release those products in the US?
Yeah, the best place right now is currently on the Kampa website. And so that can be reached at kampa.co.uk, and that's kampa.co.uk. So that's going to be the Kampa website. Starting in 2020, all of the products that will be available to US consumers will be on Dometic.com.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll link to both of those in the show notes so people can check that out. And we're really looking forward to seeing these products come to the U.S. I think when we looked at the Kampa website, I know at least when I looked at the Kampa website, there was lots of things I was like, oh, that would be cool to use. You know, we should think about getting one of those. So we're excited. I know I'm excited to be able to buy some of those products directly from in the U.S.
I did the same thing when I first looked at the accessory catalog. They have a bunk bed for a kid's bunk bed. It's like it's a bunk bed cot. And I walked into the showroom and it was set up and it had a bunk bed cot and it had a twin bed cot. So it was sort of a, family setup, and they had a table and chairs and two little mini camping chairs with like action figure prints on them. And I walked in and I instantly took out my phone, created a video for my wife, and I said, this is our next camping trip. I am so pumped to take our boys, and set up this cot for them to sleep in, because it's just such a cool, it's like a mobile tree house. You can figure it and build it in any way that you want. So personally, I was super excited about it, and I'm excited about the opportunity to launch this product line in the U.S.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Adam. And I think we can have you on again in the future as more Kampa products become available in the U.S.
Awesome. I would love the opportunity, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We want to thank Adam for coming on the show and chatting with us about the Kampa integration process. We also enjoyed hearing about the exciting new products that we can expect to see from Dometic in 2020. We are glad to hear that Dometic is listening to their customers and are designing products that will help everyone enjoy the great outdoors in a more comfortable way. We hope you will take the time to leave a review on your listening platform. These reviews help the show become ranked and easier for others to find us. Take care, everyone, and safe travels. This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.